Welcome back to Homeworld Remastered, everybody. Since the last episode, I've been gathering the final materials here on this particular region of space. I built a couple more resource collectors because it was just going so slow, it was just awful. Or I built one more here, I believe, and now we're ready to jump to the next sector and hopefully get one step closer to Higara.
We've completed decrypting data from the enemy frigate we captured in the Karak system. It appears to be an Imperial broadcast. In order to stay clear of these outposts, our course will take us into a turbulent asteroid field and through the heart of a nebula.
Hyperspace jump successful.
We haven't cleared the asteroid field. Prepare for collisions. Incoming asteroids must be destroyed before they impact with the mothership. Concentrate fire within this collision envelope.
Alright, so we have our orders here from Fleet Intelligence, and this mission will not be particularly challenging. Okay, let's get on with some more research. Capital ships, I plan on capturing them more than building them, and just by capturing I'll probably reach the ship cap as it is, so I'm not too worried about that. Now here I am noticing that, or I noticed, this is post-commentary, remember, I noticed that I lost a whole bunch of fighters, which doesn't really make a lot of sense in an asteroid field of this size, or in an asteroid field with asteroids of this size, because fighters can dodge them. Frigates and capital ships would be more in danger than fighters, but here they are dropping like flies. Okay, while we clear off this debris, why don't I read something here regarding the lore of this world, and that's about the construction of the mothership. This is interesting stuff. Just hear me out here. In the first triad of 1159, a final plan was accepted for the vessel that would follow the path indicated by the guidestone. What had delayed the project for so long was simply that no one, neither astronomers nor religious leaders, could say for certain what had brought us to Karak, and so none could say what an expedition would encounter. It was finally decided to build a vessel capable of doing everything, including establishing a new colony deep coreward. Coreward, nearest to the core of the galaxy. The guidestone indicates that Higara is close to the core, and we're on one of its arms. It might be actually an interesting allegory to humanity's own spacefaring endeavors. Just maybe we're looking for home, or at the very least a new home. Alright, moving on. Known simply as the mothership, this vessel would be part carrier, part survey ship, part factory complex, and most importantly, the temporary home for millions of our people frozen in cryogenic sleep. Fortunately, in our first mission we managed to save 600,000 people in the cryo trays. It would have to be able to reach with the great unknown, to deal with the great unknown reaches of the galaxy and whatever discoveries or threat they might contain. It would be the greatest construction project in our history. Ministers from every clan abandoned their cloistered competitive policies and pooled every resource to develop stratagems and designs and then allocate them to the various industrial hubs throughout the polar zones. Remember, Karak was a desert planet, so only the poles were reasonably habitable. In the meantime, clans had been trailing the cutting edge in technology and production, turned all their efforts toward agricultural work, feeding those who were occupied by the construction effort. Now on to the construction challenges here. The planned mothership was so big it took 20 years simply to build up the infrastructure required for the construction project. Asteroids from the debris belt were pulled into a parking orbit around Karak. There, manned cutter ships used high-energy lasers to break the asteroids into manageable sections that could be towed into the great maw of the phased disassembler array. The PDA used a series of fusion torches to reduce the planetoid chunks into their component elements. Robotic materials plants then combined those elements into whatever alloys and composites were required for the great task at hand. Many of the lessons learned there were refined and implemented into the next generation of resource-gathering ships that would serve the mothership itself. Herself. That's a person. Karen Sajet is the mothership. Without her, the whole thing is just an empty shell. Yes. The next step was to construct the orbiting scaffold where the mothership would be built. This framework took 10 years to complete and is the single largest structure ever built. New disciplines in macro engineering had to be created and put into practice just to complete this construction yard. The scaffold measures 25.6 kilometers long and is stationed in middle orbit around our world. Easily visible from the planet's surface, it is the only moon Karak has ever known and has been a natural fixture in the night sky for almost 4 generations. Only the eldest of our people can remember a time when the skies were dark and there was no glittering lattice work to remind our people of their destiny. During the next 25 years, the mothership slowly took form inside the scaffold, building up in layers from the center sections outward, until the final layer of ceramic armor was laid just last year. For the last 8 decades, more than 10,000 technicians, along with another 25,000 robots, have worked on this ship continuously. Many of the fusion torches and materials plants that broke down and processed the planetoids early in the construction program were cannibalized and incorporated into the mothership itself. During the course of this massive project, 2,357 personnel gave their lives for the future of our people, and their names are engraved on the central hyperdrive core of the mothership. They will never be forgotten, and their brave spirits will precede this vessel into the gulf of hyperspace. Well, that's always beautiful, let's say. Okay, and having told that little story, there isn't really that much else that's generic within the lore of the world. The rest is comprised of mothership systems, clan histories. It has the histories of all the clans. It has a very interesting debate with 2 fleet or, well, I don't know, fleet commanders, well, 2 guys that know what they're doing, apparently. And it's about whether it's better to have lots of fighters with little capital ship support, or lots of capital ships with some fighter support. It's really fun, but I'll graze through some of the rest of the lore as we move on through the game. Right now, I'm gonna keep commentating on what we're doing here, although there really isn't that much to this mission. I think this mission was supposed to provide us with some sort of respite. It's just, we've just been so bogged down, just being chased and shot at since we started attempting to engage our first hyperdrive jumps, that right now it's really great just to shoot at some asteroids and just have some room to breathe. It's a damn shame that I lost so many fighters. You can already see our Group 1 there is really completely ravaged at this point. At least they could have rendered in smaller debris chunks to let us know, hey, there are fast flying asteroids here, you'd better dock your fighters. But I only noticed that when it was already too late. Half a dozen interceptors here, and yeah, not much else to do. If you watched the last episode, you'll remember I said an update was going to introduce new sounds to the game, or old sounds, let's say. But you can hear them right now. The interceptor sounds are now that instead of the pew pew pew. It was really, if they could put the sound, the original sound in, why didn't they? It's just. Whatever, it's in now, and it's way better than it was before that patch. So I'll grant them that much. And in the meantime, we're almost in the clear here. Only lost fighters, fortunately. And as soon as we're past this little debris field, we'll be ready for the next mission. So come on, let's get our main our main fire support there, just chewing those asteroids. The mothership, unfortunately, wasn't designed with combat strictly in mind. It can defend itself a little bit. It has a couple of turrets on it, so a few fighters won't really bother it a lot, but it could really of cannons there. Although I understand, if I was deciding, if I was one of the people deciding that hey, this isn't our homeworld, our natural resources are all but exhausted, this can barely sustain life as it is, we have to go, we found something that told us, hey, we came from there, I don't think I would go with war in mind either. I definitely try to do everything possible to go prepared for every eventuality, but going in for war, it's really there's actually some written stuff concerning this. Hey, you can see here one of our frigates got really chewed up there. So it's best if we get some support in there, one of those support frigates to repair the hull. But yeah, there's actually some essays and some discussion about space exploration, and it's really they are interesting. And this may sound like too far-fetched, but it is a reasonable discussion to have, which is we're sending signals into space, we're actively searching for intelligent life out there, but historically we do know what happened to every single people who were visited upon by a more advanced culture, be it I'm from Portugal, for instance, and we know all too well what the discoveries meant, mass slavery and very cruel treatment of the indigenous peoples, and that's just us. I mean, there was the Spaniards too, just about everyone. The colonization of the United States territory, that was violent as all hell. So you see, if we were visited upon by a spacefaring culture, they would be mandatorily
Detecting incoming Bentusi vessel from the clearing ahead.
Okay, thank you, Fleet Command, Fleet Intelligence. They would be way more advanced than we are. What's happening here? Hello, it's the Bentusi. We missed you. Oh, how I missed you. What do you have for us? They are secretive, aren't they?
Greetings. We have come to trade.
Why, thank you, I will trade with you. Unfortunately, those asteroids aren't really mineable.
New frigate. This is a dangerous and unpredictable region. Can you give us information that will guide us through the nebula?
We hear nothing there. Even the Tide End fear the great nebula. No one returns.
Well, that's ominous.
Mothership. Interceptor complete.
Well, unfortunately, those asteroids aren't really mineable or harvestable, so we're just gonna stick to what we got now.
Module fully charged.
We have a lot of resources in any case.
Complete.
But yeah, like I was saying, any spacefaring culture would be vastly superior to our own, so there is a very distinct possibility that we'd be in trouble if we were visited upon by whoever came here to visit us.
Group 1.
Alright, let's jump into hyperspace here and see what awaits us on the other side.
The Bentusi said, no one returns.
This nebula is definitely very, very ominous. Let's see what awaits us here. It is exceedingly beautiful, man. This already back in '99, it was already beautiful. What's going on here?
It is incredibly rich in energy and resources. Energy levels are so high that our sensors are having trouble compensating. Begin harvesting the nebula while we recalibrate the sensors.
Mothership.
Okay, let's get harvesting then. And for now, let's take care of our fleet here. I remember that in this nebula there's gonna be problems, so it's best to have some ships at the ready, but I didn't really remember which ones were best for the job, so yeah, you can see there. Drone frigates were going to be something that I was gonna have to try eventually. I don't even remember what they do. Here's one. They send drones and shoot some thingies out of their bodies. The drones kind of orbit around the frigates. It's
There's a contact closing with the mothership. Sensor instability in this region makes it difficult to identify. Prepare the ambassador.
Okay, as usual, more contacts. Let's try to get ready for the worst here.
This is the Garden of Kadesh. For 13 generations we have protected it from the unclean. The tyrannic raiders who came before you refused to join and were punished for this trespass. Like theirs, your ship has already defiled this holy place. If you have come to join, we welcome you, and will spare you your ship until all have disembarked. If you have come to consume the garden, you will be removed at once. What are your intentions?
We were unaware of the significance of this location. We mean no conflict. Please allow us time to prepare our engines so that we may withdraw as requested.
If you will not join, then die. There is no withdrawal from the garden.
Okay, I guess it is on then. It is on, and they have a very big ship. Very interesting looking ship. And I do believe that if it is on like Donkey Kong, because these guys are a pain in the ass, and they're really dangerous. These fighters that they have, these swarmers, they have lots of them, and they just tear my fighters to shreds, which is why I was trying to go for drone frigates. I think I was thinking more of Sins of the Solar Empire than Homeworld when I went for drones. Yeah. By the way, there's gonna be a new series on the channel, a couple of new series.
Hyperdrive module. We should have the range to jump clear of the nebula.
But this fight's gonna have to wait for the next episode. I'm gonna pause the game here, and we're gonna keep going next week. But like I was saying, there's gonna be a couple of new series. When this one is finished, stay tuned, because if you dig space and science fiction, these two you're gonna enjoy. I promise you that. Unless you can't stand the sound of my voice, in which case I really can't do that much about it. So I'm sorry. But in any case, thank you very much for watching, people. Remember, leave a like, leave a dislike, leave a comment, and until next time, as always, I have been the Neural, and I hope you have an awesome day.